Hey guys, this is Daniel. In today's video, I will show you how to hatch or shade with a pen. So the technique of shading with a pen is slightly different than when you're shading with a pencil. There's so many tools that you could use to help you shade when you're drawing with a pencil. For example, blending stumps, your thumb, kneaded eraser. There's so many ways that you could achieve that. When you're shading with a pen, there's really only one tool that you can use. So the technique that we use to shade with a pen is called hatching. So the way that you hatch is you would draw diagonal lines like this to achieve a desired level of depth. And if you want to make it even darker, you would go and hatch it in the opposite direction. And then if you want to make it even darker, you can add more layers of hatch patterns until the desired darkness has been achieved. I always hatch from darker to lighter, so I would draw the darker elements or hatch or shade the darker elements of the drawing before I shade the lighter ones, so that when I want to make the dark elements even darker, I can always go ahead and do that. So if our light source is somewhere over here, we would make this part of our drawing or building the darkest. And then this would be slightly less dark, and if this is at a higher elevation so that the top is exposed, maybe you just do a very slight shade like that, or not even that at all. But something that I do to add to this classic technique is I would actually go ahead and kind of do something like this, and you may have seen a lot of this in my drawings. Almost like I'm coloring it in. So this is not something that you see a lot in pen drawing when you see a lot of online tutorials, but this is kind of something that I like to do in my own drawings. And this allows me to then play around with the other surfaces until I know that there's a certain amount of difference between them. So everybody has their own style of doing this. So there's no one way to achieve this. I know that a lot of people like to draw very close lines. Lines are very close to each other. And man, this could take a long time. And I don't have the patience for that. I'm a little bit more like this. And then I would go this. Because the nature of what I do is just quick sketching. That's just my style of drawing, so this is what suits me best. So if you're trying to draw a circle, for example, you identify the source of your light and do whatever suits the shape to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. So that's the basics of shading. The more you practice, the better you get at this. Now, the question is where to start. And I always start from darker to lighter. So a lot of times you would see me, if there's like a corner, I would kind of go like that and come out like this. And then you could add different levels, variations to that to achieve the result that you're trying to get to. Again, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Now, what you want to avoid is these lines where you could see these corners. That's not good. If you end up in a situation where you have a lot of these, a quick way to get past that is to cross hatch in another direction in order to hide that. Because in the moment of sketching and the passion of going really fast, you may end up in a situation where you made a lot of mistakes, or some lines are looking like they're too intentional. So you can always overcome that by hatching in a different direction. So let's do an exercise of a line drawing that I already drew, and let's go ahead and hatch the whole drawing, and you guys can follow in the footsteps on what I'm trying to do and see if you can learn, or if there's anything that I'm doing wrong, please let me know. To draw this, I use a 0.1 micron pen, and then to hatch or shade I actually use wider pens, which is 0.5, 0.3 and 0.2, and 0.5 is actually for the darkest parts of the drawing, and that's where we're going to start. So I always start with whatever's the darkest, and it could be any corner of the drawing. And for example, we're just going to start right here, and I'm going to just start doing this. Alright guys, so that was my whole process of shading with a pen, and I started from a line drawing all the way to get to this point. You can follow similar steps to shade your drawings, and you may get a similar results or better, or just try to bring your own style to it, your own tempo. You don't necessarily have to follow strict rules, whatever works for you. So you can see in this particular drawing, the background objects are a little bit faded, they seem to be in fog. So I applied very little pressure to shade them, and for things in the foreground it's a lot darker, so I applied a lot more pressure. But what makes a drawing interesting is the variation from darker to lighter, and the more control you have over that is how your drawings are going to appear more 3D and visually convincing. So yeah, just try to bring your own twist to it, and I had a lot of fun doing this, and just let me know if you want to see more of these types of drawings. I've been enjoying a lot of tutorials lately, so I will be glad to do more. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next one.